What's going on, guys? Long time no see. I know it's been a while. Lots changed in the past, I don't know, it's been like a year or so. I mean, you can also see we're in a different environment. I've moved, so lots been going on. But this is going to be the start of a video series that I'd really like to do where we're going to be swapping from a 47RE automatic transmission in my 97 Dodge Ram 2500 to an NV4500. And it's taken me a while to source all these parts. I've sourced them from local areas, a junkyard, and then mainly online. It's just taken me a while. I'll do my best to try to keep all of a ton of information in the description below, all the part numbers, relatively how much it costs, and all the parts you'll need based off of what I'm doing. This is going to be very similar for anybody who's doing this from a Dodge Ram from 1994 to 2001. From 1998 and a half to 2001, things get a little bit different with the interior pieces, and I think also with the shift cover on top of your NV4500, but it's all relatively the same for the second gens. And yeah, this is going to be a very big thing. In this video, we're going to just be working mainly on the transfer case. I need to take a measurement of a bearing for the input shaft, and I did not get the input shaft yet, so it's going to take me a little while to get that. But we need to take some measurements, yeah, without further ado, I'll kind of show you what we've collected. All right, guys, so this is going to be a majority of the parts. Well, honestly, most of the parts that you're going to need for a swap, kind of like this. This is the actual transmission itself. I don't know where you guys that have done these swaps before, you guys have the most insane luck. Like I don't. Where you're able to get this transmission for like $900 or something from some person or somewhere or some forum or something like that. But I didn't have any luck for finding something like that super cheap. So the only thing I had to do was go through a transmission rebuilder that was kind of nearby that could, you know, supply me with a transmission that they specialize in this type of thing, or just they specialize in rebuilding transmissions. So I was able to get this, but with a core, because yeah, I am kind of running this, you know, I don't have the manual itself to swap out, so I had to get a brand new one. So they just completely rebuilt this, and it looks clean, it looks good from the inside and everything. So we're going to try to run with this. I got really lucky on eBay. Some person was selling it for like half the price that they usually go. They go for like $250, I've seen, from like Canada or like some places and freaking everywhere, you know, like I don't know why people sell this for like $200. It's insane. So and this is like the cleanest one I've seen too. It's got like no tears in the inner boot and stuff like that, so it's really nice and good. And then right here is the transmission bell housing. I was able to get this from Advanced Adapters, but since the pandemic, steel is kind of weird. So finding this adapter plate was kind of a bear. I think I got lucky on this one too, because I was able to get it from Advanced Adapters, and it was like the last, or no, I'm sorry, it was like a supplier that gets them from Advanced, and this was like their last one, like their fifth one that they only had out of 5, and they were short. And at the time they were saying like you couldn't get them until like February, which, you know, it was like a month ago. So it's like they were just backed up on orders. A lot of weird stuff. From the junkyard, I was able to pick up this stick cover, and I was also able to pick up the plastic right here to cover the Prindle shift. I ordered another transmission mount online, but I think our automatic will work perfectly fine. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that. And yeah, these are just little interior bits and pieces. We are going to need an input shaft for the transfer case, which I'll be showing you later. And then also I picked up a clutch kit. So the Flywheel, it's a 13-inch disc clutch, single disc, from Clutch America on eBay. So we'll kind of see how that works. I've seen good reviews on it, and it's all American made, so it looks great. We're going to try to run that. And I got a Luck clutch and slave and master cylinder, so we're going to swap that as well. And I also got other bits and pieces from the junkyard, like a little rubber grommet, but it comes with, you know, for the clutch and master slave cylinder. So all right, really quick, just before we start tearing apart the whole transfer case, here's the Luck slave and master cylinder kit. I got it on eBay. Some third-party seller was just selling the luck kit as a whole. I don't know if that's a part number for the reservoir, but it's all USA made, so I'm really happy about that. And then here's the whole clutch kit. I'll open that up and show you guys a little bit later. I just want it to stay protected until like we're ready to throw it in. It's also an American made clutch and just whole clutch kit. And then in the back right there, that small package is all the oil for the transmission. I've got the AMS oil, Dodge NV4500, 5600, and I think a Trag G56. That's the oil for that. You can run that. There's very few oils that you can run in this transmission because I think of the carbon fiber synchro friction disc rings or something like that. So you have to be really careful with the fluid that you run, and finding any Mopar fluid is kind of difficult. So AMS oil is kind of one of the easiest accessible ways to get it, but it is very expensive. It's like $100 worth of fluid right there. So we're not going to be doing any fluid changes anytime soon. I mean, maybe after a break-in period we'll have to do that. So all right, that was just really brief. Now let's get to taking down the transfer case. Okay, we're underneath the truck now, and we're going to start by removing the cross member that's underneath the transfer case right there. And now we're also going to be draining the transfer case. So at the drain plug right there, I was able to get a 3/4 inch hex bit in there. So that's what we're going to be using for that. My transfer case has been leaking for a good amount of time. So I'm really glad to be taking this out and resealing it. I'm pretty sure my transmission is also leaking at the rear main seal and the input and output seal junction between the transfer casing and transmission. So we're going to be replacing that. But to remove the skid plate, we're going to be removing 4 15mm nuts. Or I'm sorry, 2 15mm nuts and 2 15mm bolts. So there's one there, and then one on the other side, and then there's 2 bolts down there you can kind of see, and this should all come down. That bolts to the cross member, and then we're going to be working our way towards the cross member after that. Once we're done with that, we're going to remove our drive shaft, our rear drive shaft. I believe those are 8mm bolts. I just recently had replaced 2 U-joints, so I'm glad to be replacing another one. And then we're going to get to our carrier bearing because this is an 8-foot extended bed. So let's start with removing the skid plate. Alright guys, I got my drive shaft out. It was a freaking pain in the butt, definitely getting that out. So I started by removing the rear U-joint straps at the rear differential there. I found that I think it was, let me see the size here. Yeah, that's good enough right there. Yeah, I noticed that the 8mm was not really working too well, and it was starting to strip those bolts, so I'm gonna need new hardware anyways because it's old. This is the center carrier bearing for an extended cab crew bed, extended cab 8-foot bed, so extendo bed. Everything's super extendo here. And I used a 15mm socket for the top part because there's a bolt that goes up here, and then a nut, or I'm sorry, a nut that goes on the threads onto the bolt. And that was a pain in the butt. I used a lot of heat, and I used some Panther P, and I was able to get it out. So I used a 9/16 deep well and an extension, and just smacked it on there, and I was able to get it off from the top and the bottom. And then it just slipped out of the back of my transfer case, and a ton of fluid just kept pouring out. So I have a feeling my transfer case rear seal is also just pooched. I think this thing is just due for a resealing, which is what we're going to do. So I'm really excited about that. I also drained it from the drain plug right there, you can kind of see. So got my train pan right here. And then this nut on the bottom skid plate is just not having it today. I was able to get all of the other nuts and bolts out, but that one has a wing nut and it's just completely shot, and it's just not coming out. So I can show you here. So far this seems to be like all of the hardware that came out. These were the nuts and bolts that held in the carrier bearing at the top there. There should be 4 of them. So, and one of them was short for some reason. It's really strange. So that's all of them for me. Maybe it was replaced at one time, so I'm going to replace them again anyways. Here's my U-bolt strap, so you're going to have kind of the same thing. And it's been like a 15 millimeter, 14 millimeter, and then also a 9/16 I used just to kind of smack on there. So yeah, these are the two for the front, and then this is the wing nut that I was talking about that I was able to get like a 4 millimeter on the back, but I don't know, I might have to use, you can see I was kind of using my like grip extractor set. So I'm gonna keep working away and see if I can get that off, and then we're gonna try to remove the transfer case. I'm also using a jack, and I'm gonna use a piece of wood to help support the transmission, because we're gonna try to remove the cross member here and then just remove the transfer case and keep the transmission supported. The engine's supported by the cradle, but then we're going to support it with the jack stand. All right, everyone, I have gotten all 4 of the bolts out for the cross member here. That was kind of a pain in the butt. On the back side through your frame, it would seem to me that it was like a 15 millimeter, then somewhere 14 millimeter, and then I used a 9/16 and had to just smack it on with a hammer to get it on because they're pretty rusty, so some of them got swollen. I supported my transmission with a jack and a jack stand just to make sure that those are good to go and they don't fall, because we've removed the transmission cross member plate that goes onto the back of your exhaust here, and then I also removed the mount that goes to the cross member there, and then also over here. So I just use a screwdriver and pop that out, and that's separated from the bushing for your transfer case linkage. So now what we're going to do is we're going to remove this cross member, and what we're going to do to remove it, you can smack it this way towards the back of your truck, and the back of your truck will actually get wider here. So kind of over here, the frame expands. Alright, success! We got the cross member out. And now we are removing the transfer case. So I'm going to go over to the driver's side. What I've had to do was remove the 2 bolts at the top of the transmission sort of mounting plate up here. And this basically helped me move the transfer case shift tower, or like the shift stick inside the cab. I did not remove that because I'm just trying to get everything done below here first. This might sort of start to tear my boot, so I'm gonna prop it up and continue on with removing the rest of the transfer case and transmission separately. But this is the only way I was able to get access to the top bolt on the transfer case. So the transfer case, there's like a bolt way up here, and that was so difficult to get to. And then there's one on the other side too. We have vacuum lines that run up here as well, mine has been disconnected for a long time since I've bought the truck, which has been really strange. I need to figure out where it goes to. I think it might go to the transmission, or it might go to a vacuum line and go into the vacuum tree at the front of the vehicle. So I don't know, we'll have to figure that out. This completely snapped on the transmission, so I'm gonna have to get that out somehow. These are all 14 millimeter bolts, but let me show you the combination that I've been using. So this is the combination of pretty much all of the wrenches that I've had to need to use, and sockets and various things. I've had to use like 3 different types of 9/16 inch wrenches because the nuts on the transfer case have either swollen or shrunk because of the rust. The stubby has been, or this shorter wrench has been really helpful trying getting into the tight spaces. And then the top bolts kind of rusted and got swollen, so I used a 15 millimeter ratcheting wrench. These are all supposed to be 14 millimeter, but even the previous owner just decided to, I guess, throw on some like red silicone, which is so bogus. So these are all supposed to come out with a nut and then like a spinning washer attached to it. So we have about 2 or 3 more bolts left, studs / nuts, and then the whole transfer case is going to come out. I'm going to try to man mode it. We're going to try to pull it out of here. It's completely separating, and the gasket on the back is almost non-existent, and I guess they just used silicone again. So much silicone on this thing. And we have a proper gasket we're going to use for this and seal it. So yeah, I don't know, I was reading somewhere that this thing is like 170 something pounds. I don't know if that's true. We're gonna see how heavy it is, and we're just gonna try to remove those 2 bottom bolts right there, and then we're gonna pull it out. Kind of bolstering up the side with my shoulder, and I got my hand underneath and my arm here, so hopefully I don't get crushed. Alright, it should come out. Hopefully I don't die. Oh, that's a heavy boy. That's a big boy. Okay. Alright, we got it out, guys. Yeah, I would have to say this thing's probably like 100 pounds or something. At least. If it's full, this thing's pretty heavy. Come on, man. Get me out of here. Get me out of here already. Alright. Last thing you do is panic. Alright, let's try to get this beast out of here somehow. Fudge. I'm gonna have to set it on the floor. Oh. Okay guys, we finally made it out. It's getting crushed. This thing is filthy, but this is a transfer case to my truck. I believe it's an NP241DLD. So we're going to need to replace this input shaft. This is the main thing that we're looking for right here. So the automatic transmission comes with a 23 spline input shaft, which goes and mates to the 47RE, and we're going to need to swap this out for a 29 spline. And I need to take this apart to figure out the input bearing size so I can get the correct shaft. You know, as of filming, actually, so this is the 47RE automatic transmission bracket, and as of filming right now, like finding the manual transmission bracket where it just kind of goes straight across and hangs on the hanger, it is so hard to find, and I'm not sure why. So hopefully I can get that very soon and just kind of get this wrapped up. But yeah, mainly this is we had to take the transfer case out because we have to remove this. We're also going to need to adjust our shift linkage as well for the manual, because the manual will shift, I believe it's a little bit shorter than the 47RE, so we're gonna have to adjust that, and I'll show you that in a later video. But man, we finally made it. This thing is greasy and disgusting. So in another video I'll show you how to remove that, and we're going to take it apart, We're going to clean it, and I'll show you how to swap the input shafts and then put it back together. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps up today's video. We just needed to remove the transfer case and start the process on starting to kind of remove a lot of stuff so that we can start to remove the 47RE and then start putting in the NV4500. There's still quite a bit of stuff that we need to remove, so that'll be in the next video. The next video we're going to kind of remove the transmission fluid, and then we're going to show you where the state of the transfer case is, because it will be cleaned at that point, and then we're going to be removing like all of the linkages for the transmission lines, transmission coolers, and stuff like that. I'll have all the information in the description, and you'll kind of see what happens in the next video, and we'll just keep going this process and get it done. It's really exciting, so I'll see you in the next one, guys.